Welcome, Scorpio, to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 25th of March for the Ascendant, the Sun, or the Moon. I'm sharing on the screen now your event chart, and the big news story really for you particularly is that your traditional ruler Mars has moved into your 5th house. That happened late last week, but that's an area that really can give you a lot of extra thrust over the next 6 weeks, and that is very exciting for your social situation, which, to be honest, Saturn and Neptune have been draining a little bit, particularly over the last year in terms of Saturn. But also late last week, Venus in this area forged a delicious link to Jupiter, the planet of fortune. If you did meet up with someone as last week came to a close, there may have been quite the connection, and that positivity can come into this new week as well. They're still in touch through to Wednesday, but then it's Uranus that is connected to Venus. So in existing relationships, a fresh approach, more energy, more enthusiasm can reinvigorate a long-standing alliance. But of course, as we come into this week, we are having the penumbral lunar eclipse, and you can see the moon and the south node for you are in house 12, which is very psychological. The sun on the other side of the heavens is in the practical house 6, along with the north node, Chiron, Mercury as well. But the critical thing with this particular event is that it's the outcome of the solar eclipse, which occurred on the 14th of October last year. And that saw a very sensitive position for the sun and the moon, pushing you really to be much more conscious of the shadow side of your nature, perhaps the things that you were more fearful about, perhaps things that were undermining your confidence or your physical energy. And Uranus and Neptune applied to that event in not a very helpful way. So it may be the unpredictability of someone in your world since then has affected you. It may be that you've felt a little bit disillusioned with some of the more creative parts of your situation. So as we come into this penumbral lunar eclipse, you can assess how much progress you made in the area that solar eclipse wanted you to embrace, which was those hidden, more shadow, more psychological strands of your situation. If you really embraced it and your personal development has come on during that period of time, you may see real positive progress which you can celebrate. But the cluster of energy in house 6 in Aries could also be telling you that a lot of your situation at the moment is dominated by more practical demands, whether it's work, the domestic sphere, supporting other people potentially. And if all of that is seeing you not have the time to get the rest, reflection and recuperation that is important for us all, that's what you need to adjust over the next few weeks. But the great news is that Mars, moving into your 5th house, is going to give you the vigour to do that. Also, if you do want to push back and change things at home, if you're the one who's been the primary manager of the domestic load, your other ruler, Pluto, your modern ruler, you can see is on house 4, and that connects with the sun at the start of this week within 3 degrees. That's giving you a lot of determination to speak up for what you need. So if other people need to pitch in and take a bit more responsibility, then do ensure you find your voice. But in terms of that social dimension, if your world is working well for you and you do want to connect with other people, Mars and Venus forging very positive influences for you this week for sure. Venus then goes on to connect to Uranus later in the week. Uranus, which has been causing some mischief, certainly some unpredictability, perhaps your own mood or need to be close or need to be then free has been something that's caused some tensions over the last 5 or 6 years. Well, I feel that you're going to sort a lot of that out in the next 2 or 3 weeks as Jupiter and Uranus come into an alliance on the 21st of April, an exact conjunction, but as they do, they're going to be connecting to Mars in your 5th house. So Uranus can be an agent for change in a positive way. So if you've needed to flex, approach things with a fresh eye and be open to different people, then Uranus has been helpful, but Jupiter will reinforce that help by the 21st of April, but they do start to come into touch with one another by the end of this week. So a lot for you to go for, but I feel essentially, Scorpio, making sure that your physical, practical, and responsibility side of your life isn't dominating that more emotional and more sensitive part of your nature is really, really important. So if you do feel a bit overwhelmed, do use the power of Mars and Pluto, your two rulers, to push back, assert your boundaries, but also give yourself permission to have some fun. It's been a real pleasure being with you, Scorpio. I really hope you have a great week. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you did so now. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol.